Now I do come back to say that there's probably just one little additional step we need to take to continue making Joseph here, and got a little line to draw just to kind of put in a little something for his head, and then just kind of put it where it's gonna freaking need to be. Oh, the work is way. Oh, the time is just away. Oh, the time is just slipping away out into the future, I say. Oh, I tell y'all that, like, just a little work we do now. I find out the line has to be drawn like 1 inch from the bottom of the band. So that's exactly the way the book states it and how it goes. And so we kind of do it all the way around the place and get it where he's going to kind of look a little more real once we come down to him. And I always enjoy the ways that I can take these different types of woods and make them all these different kinds of ways. And you know, there's probably going to be more that's going to show up on little practices we have as we go further along. Sometimes there's little things here. We might kind of even them up a little bit now and then, but I say, oh, work. I say, put little time into it. And I say that this is just kind of like and here's where I made the little line all around. There's going to be another kind of place or two to put the next one in. I say that we kind of got to make it so the shawl is just right for the little place we're going to shine it along, make it all come down to little bitty good little life and things, and what it shall ever so be. I say, bless children with all their special times and all the needs they have. I say, lesson time. Oh yeah, for what we do, it's just kind of one thing I say after another, and it's going to make its way around to each day we live, that we want to be a day to give the best of us. A little thing as the little song about one moment in time always mentioned to us. Sometimes these days, you know, we look back on life and we sometimes remember all the kids we knew, kids we loved, and how things were always different from one moment of time to the next, and how everybody sees things a little different ways in life, different ways from one to the next. I say we finally got the headdresses made all around. I think we're going to come down to where there's a certain other line we're going to carve out to kind of take this step a little further, where we already kind of did the step on Mary earlier. We're going to go ahead and put it out on little Joseph now and see just what this will be, getting down to the very thing of which we need for it to be. I say, put on the thumb protector, make your way go, make your way around. And I say, sometimes I could get a little hung up on my speech sometimes, and oh, little work we kind of go about to make things a little nicer for us. And then we kind of get on the glove, go to the next little step, take it so that it's going to be just what we got. Here's where we got one step to come along here. Make that little line right there. And that's where it's going to be now. Make it around to the other side too. Carve that little line out where the line was drawn. So we got both sides of the headdress now. And then to the sides, make it so we get that little line to come out there. And then finally have a place where we got this side, and we got a couple back corners to take as well. So we're going to work our way into and about those. I say there's little things in life we don't know, don't see, and don't hear or do, but I'd say that, you know, this is kind of how I spend my weekends and my days, is making these videos for you all to kind of see just a little ways as to how these little things work and go about the work and do the little business that I'm called to do. Sometimes the little things may change as far as where I'll be and what I'll be doing, but I say in time we all just kind of go to where we know that this is just some kind of work we've got to do in our hands. I say we're going to take the same little steps and lines along this other one as well, try to work our way into it, make it so it's going to be so big, and then we'll put the extra work needed into doing all we can do to make it go a little bigger and go a little further to what it's supposed to really be. And there might come a time when we'll sort of make the little lines to make out what is going to be on the head of the shepherd as well, because we all can use a little work in our lives of some sort, whatever it is, whatever it might be. I say that there's a lot of neat and little interesting things to read sometimes, and I always like learning from it. I always enjoy finding out so much. And like what I was saying about the blue jay in a previous video that I recorded earlier today, you know, it was cool to read all this stuff about how different people carve different things with different tools and in different ways, but I have my own little ways I'm most comfortable with, and kind of like to just do the little pieces of work that you'd say for the most part could be sold for cheap. And as for this, kind of come away to where we got the head in place. There's probably going to be certain steps we're going to take along with Mary and Joseph each, and I'd say that there's probably just one or two things to take about here, and then we're going to come down to where we get along the top of Mary's head, and all she has is just a little round area across the top of her head. That's all we really have to take care of there. I think we're going to try to, though, anyway, I say, take these little steps in order as they need to be taken. And some of these steps we've already done, but there's one little thing I think we might need to do. I say, let's go a little up a ways, about 3/16 of an inch up the sides of our road to put other little lines in there and see what it's going to come down to, what we're going to have, and then kind of make it so it's going to be a little bit of a brighter inch of a day for you and for me. We all got this right. We all got this right as it needs to be. I say, come and do the work is all we have in our lives and in our tensions. And for one thing, I say that we got the 3/16 inch line where we draw it up this way, and perhaps there's going to be times somebody's going to train me a little better on how to talk for a video, but I'd say as far as how we got these lines right here, that's as good as it's gone. That's as good as it's going to go. And then just kind of take it where we put the little line in there where we cut the little place. Try to, carve a little bit of ways at that. Make it so she's kind of got a place where a little bit of work is in her, and then finally get down and show how much real strength in our grinds we have. So we got this little thing done here. We're going to do the same little line here. This is probably something that I say we'll be doing with Joseph as well when we get right around to it. But that's how the step is taken here. I do think we're going to look a little further, try to take care of the little headdress of the shepherd now. See if we can, or if we're quite ready to do that yet. But that's something at which we have to take a little bit of a closer look to see what we need to do. And I say we hadn't even gotten the face put into the shepherd yet, so I'd say this one's a little bit different. We're going to only go about, well, I'd say is what similar is, we're going to go about 3/16 of an inch down this way from the top of his head to put a little extra work into him and see how he's going to turn out so much better for us and what we see and what we do. Oh, life kind of makes its way to us. I tell y'all that it's going to be a little similarity and a little difference, but we got to put our own work into what we have and do, and I say that this is just the way it has to be. So I might even be doing the head the same way, but do think it's quite a slightly different measurement. When it comes to the shepherd, we are actually going to go, instead of 5/8, go 3/4 of an inch down the head from where that line is, and see what it's going to be when we get done right down to the last step of what we've got. I say this is a work that marks its way along us, I say, and then, you know, like we did with Mary and Joseph, take the little gouge, put in a little place for its chin, and get the work right done, like in that place, I say. Make the mark right there and kind of try to work our way around the little head where we make the little lines to see how little characters are going to come out for us in the end. And oh, I tell y'all, little brighter days in our evenings, and make us all see little brighter days, brighter nights, brighter lights. I say we might as well take along and carve along the little shepherd's face here to make it so it's going to have it when it comes time to cut him out. And that's where we get the differences along here, and then kind of make it so we see where this is going to go. I know there's been different steps I've shown in different places on different videos, but this is a challenge video, so I kind of take things a little further, have different things to talk about here, and think as we come down to this, would like to have a little place to put a little work down into the little head, I say. Oh, the work it comes down to being. Sometimes just little extra times we work along to make things what we need them to make them to be, and so I say work is central. Work is here. It's what it ought to be for all days and all times, I say, and put it down to where we come down to what it is. Here's how I got the little head out. Here's where you see, let's see what it is, the other little 3/4 inch line and place where I do the head. So we've got another one to make out here, make the flat little face come out just as it ought to be. And you know, I've probably explained little differences when it came to this video as far as just how little things turn out different ways for different little sets. And when it comes down to this, I've just got little work to do and time to take, and thankfully, I tell y'all, I just have so many ways to be more productive these days. One of these days it's probably going to draw more audience and bring more attention to my work, maybe get me a little further on in life, help me be a better entrepreneur. But this is just the place where it comes along for right now. I do want to say that I hope we're getting closer to the end, and you know, I might not go so far as to show videos how I do the lambs, because you've kind of seen where I've done the lambs before, and usually that and the shepherds are what I make, and the little Mary and Joseph and the manger. And you've probably even seen how I did a video a while back where I carved a lot of angels, and I've done many more angels over these past several months and took many more of them out to my shows, so I have had plenty of those I've been able to sell. I'd say that there's certain little steps we're going to take along here. I'd say we got one little last step to take along with Joseph, the 3/16 line that comes from the side of the cloak to make it so he is going to stand up correctly and show a little work in his life and in his light. And all things I say, I see that he's just going to be a general little figure of a carved statue out of wood. And oh, for the little work these come to be. Gotta find where the other one is. And yeah, this little line where it comes in, going to find its way to work along. And I mean, where I probably just instructed you on how I did things in the last videos, I probably show you a little differences in this little challenge series. So we're gonna carve along him, try to get rid of that little line out to the edge, get rid of that little cut, make the cut so it's going to see what it needs to see and what it ought to be. And so we got little lines where we are brightening up our dull days. Seeing how the shepherd is going to be a little blessed life of a trophy to us all. You know, got little ways. Sometimes the grain comes out a little bad, so we have to come back and take care of it a different way. But we're going to try to put little work down into the body to make it so he's going to see a little ways how it's going to work, what it's going to do, bless our souls, and make us see how a little bright light can just solely shine in us. I've been blessed by the places I've been, by the people I've seen, by the work I've done, and by all the quantities of things I've sold. And so that kind of wraps it up for this video. There's going to be a little more to show and a little more to share. Maybe a little bit more work done into the shepherd headdress in the next one. So I hope you all will always try to stay tuned and stay on top of things and keep up with my videos and learn so much more and see so much more and see how much farther along this is going to go. I wish you all the best. Take care and be safe, and God bless.